Yoicks. Are we recording? Yeah. What's happening? I didn't even get like a play in. I might make you hosty.
For what? Today?
Why not?
It's not going to be about what's on the blog. I can promise you that.
No.
Do with that
What is
what
up?
you will.
What is up? I am back. I'm back from the death. I got very, very sick, and I'm back. I feel a little weird. I actually didn't realize I was gone for so long. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Um,
But I also feel like coming off the holidays, like it was just like all blurred into
it
one
was
giant
mess.
clusterfuck, if you will.
Ooh, let's write that down real quick. Christian O's. I'm gonna write down cluster.
So the way you're writing that is very interesting. The angle at which your hand was.
Deet. To the swear jar.
Oh, is that why that's here?
Yup.
I wondered who put that
Fold
up here.
this little guy over, put this little guy up here.
Okay.
Anyway, if you guys have been paying attention to the Baltimore real estate market lately, you already know this. The buyers just aren't shopping for just a house. They're shopping for lifestyle. So with walkability, restaurants, access, charm, community, all the other reasons that someone would pick, as we headed into this year, we started to think about what are the best communities for somebody to target. What are the most sought after neighborhoods in Baltimore in 2026? So I have a targeted question for you. What would be your most sought after community if you had to pick one inside the city?
For me to live in, if I were to purchase a house?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to go with the, I guess, typical answer here.
Typical?
Yeah.
Heard.
For someone, I guess, my age and what I'm into, I like Canton.
Okay. Why?
It's just very walkable. You have a park above you, like north. You have water south of you, like the Canton Waterfront Park. You have restaurants. You have shops, ice cream, like all the things that you would really want. However, it's not as it's not at much of an affordable price point in consideration to your other options out there.
What is the average home price, give or take, roughly in Canton?
Let's just call it between $375, $400.
Average?
Probably.
I think that's probably pretty low.
Well, I was going to say 400 would be your average, but
In my head, I was
on,
thinking like 4 to 5.
I mean, I look at what someone in my shoes would probably purchase out there.
Mm-hmm.
And like you could get something for 400, but it's going to be a 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom or 1.5 bathroom with no parking. You might have a little back area.
Yeah.
Right. It's going to be your basic row home. It's not going to be, this, super modern, shiny. It's going to be a great house, but like it's not going to be like the biggest house there.
Yeah, but I
like
think
if you want like your substantial, slightly bigger row home, yeah, you're probably looking between 450 and 5.
right.
Maybe even over 5, depending on what you're looking for. But you take into consideration what you're getting in Canton. It is again going to be a much higher price tag, which also is not just in the actual price point, but your taxes, other things that come along with that.
Yeah, I agree. Canton took number 1 on our list as most sought after. And as we created this list, it was the ideal type of home for a younger first-time home buyer or a buyer that's transitioning to our community. We felt like Canton was the right,
I'm pretty sure,
approach.
based off of Live Baltimore statistics, I want to say Canton has had the number 1 sales in Baltimore City for arguably the last year.
I mean, it's
if
one
not
of the
more.
biggest zip codes in the city,
Yeah.
one of the biggest neighborhoods in the city. Sorry, not zip codes, but one of the biggest neighborhoods by literal size.
Yeah.
And thus, price point, average transaction, everything. Canton's going to kind of reign supreme.
It also, if you look at like just like where it's at and what you're around, there's not many other neighborhoods or towns where you can expand on like Canton has, like Canton Crossing. I mean, they're building more apartments and stuff over there. Not that we want you to go rent, but you understand what I'm saying. They're just building up that area more and more. There's shopping like Target. You
I
have
think
all
the
your grocery
amenity
stores. You have your gyms. You have your Chick-fil-A. You have Five Guys. Like everything is right there within Canton. And maybe you consider Brewers Hill to be the same area, sure, but like same thing there. Like that could be runner up. They're brother and sister at that point. They're the same.
Yeah.
You know?
Understood.
I used to live in Federal Hill. I just think where I lived right on Hanover Street, literally right behind the main part of the bars where, what was it used to be? It used to be called the Charles, I think. What was the, what is it called now?
I don't even know what it's called now.
I don't know. And then you had the market right across from it, Cross Street Market, I think.
Oh, Charles, Baltimore. Still Charles.
No, it's different.
Just kidding. Not the Charles.
I forget what it's called. But anyways, I used to live there, and that's essentially like college 2.0, like Towson 2.0, Loyola 2.0. It's like a big party area, and it's just very heavy within like traffic in general, just like whether it's you know people partying on the weekends, or it's not as much of a laid back lifestyle, I'll say. As like
Is it called the Perch?
Yes, that does sound right.
The Perch. I literally
Correct.
went to the Charles website and it redirected me to the Perch. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I don't know if it's the same ownership. I would imagine if it just took you from one website to the other.
Yeah.
And they just had a rebrand. But yeah, I used to live in Federal Hill. Liked it for the time that I was there. Again, it just at some point it became too much, and I think there is a big group of people that like jump from Fed Hill to Ken. Like there's a certain transition period, just like the people at Towson come down to Federal Hill. Once you're done with Federal Hill, you go over to Ken. Like there's a cycle here. I almost feel like.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of demand in that quote unquote inner city. So Federal Hill, Fells Point, Canton, and that kind of expands, right? So Brewers Hill and Locust Point and Riverside and all these different little like hyper local neighborhoods. They're all under the same umbrella to me. So one person might choose Federal Hill because it feels a little bit more like a city. It's a little bit tighter, a little bit more vertical.
That's another way to describe it.
Yeah. And Canton's a little bit more residential, more community.
It is a little bit more breathable too.
Right.
You know?
But to me, if you're not going to pick from one of those three, like Federal Hill, Fells Point, Canton, and then the neighborhood adjacent, so the Peninsula, Locust Point, Riverside, Brewers Hill, Bolton Hill, not Bolton Hill. Why am I blanking on
Butchers Hill?
Butchers Hill? Woo, thank you so much, Christian.
I was like, Bolton Hill is like
no. Bolton Hill's way
there.
out there. It did make our top 10 list though. It's number 8 on the top 10 list. Bolton Hill is.
Have you heard what's going on with the Peninsula?
I mean, yes, but why do you?
Well, I heard Kevin Plank was.
Oh, well, that's a whole different political ball game.
Is it? Well, I didn't know if it was like political. I just thought he was stopping his like funding to with the project.
Everything is political.
Okay, you're right.
He's not stopping funding. He's stopping managing. Yeah, and so here's the thing, right? Kevin Plank got involved. He had a lot of aspiration. My lowly perspective on this is that it wasn't feeding up to the vision that he had imagined,
right?
Because, getting businesses to invest in that location is challenging, but also getting community to invest in that location is really challenging. I think the idea of being isolated on the peninsula was really smart, but you also need those walking residents of Federal Hill to like come over to the restaurants and the shops in order to make them successful.
Right.
And they're now finally building apartment complexes, which will add to that foot traffic, but it's just really hard. And as I imagine, as the leader of that investment group or development group, it's got to be very tough for him to do all the different things that he was trying to do and the caps that he was trying to wear. And maybe that was the easiest one to take off.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I was just curious to see if you knew everything that was going on. I remember seeing the headline that he was like, again, I used the wrong language, like stepping down or not funding it, or again, he's
I think
not
that's what they
managing
say.
it. Yeah, right. So I wasn't sure what had changed, if anything. But going back to your point, buyers are looking for a lifestyle, right? And I think, whether you like the kind of hustle and bustle of Federal Hill and that kind of lifestyle versus like more breathability in Canton, or you want to go up to Hamden where I feel like it's very artsy. It's kind of a vibe. The avenue's awesome. We have our famous Christmas lights, Miracle on 34th. Like you're going for these types of vibes that these neighborhoods have. You look at my listing in Reservoir Hill on Linden Ave. I mean, that's like old Baltimore charm too, right? And you're also a couple blocks down from the zoo. Like you're not far. And correct me if I'm wrong, but Bolton Hill is not far from that either.
Well, and that's where Baltimore is so unique because so many different little neighborhoods kind of squeezed into one, right? So in Federal Hill, you have Riverside, Locust Point, Federal Hill, Otterbein. Even if you really want to break it down, you have like South Baltimore and these like hyper local communities.
It's very interesting to say the least.
But the reality is, to me, Bolton Hill and Mount Vernon and Reservoir Hill, they're all similar. They're similar in style. They're similar in community. They're similar in location. Not that I think that they're all the same, because they're certainly not, but it gives you a little bit of a different lifestyle choice to live in, let's just say, Bolton Hill by comparison to living in Brewers Hill, adjacent to Canton. Very, very different. I think if I had to think about it, a favorite of mine that made the list is probably Roland Park.
Yeah, Roland Park's beautiful.
Well, and I, again, as I kind of like commonly adjacent communities, you've got Roland Park, you've got Evergreen, you've got Windhurst, you've got Homeland, depending on who you are and where you're from, Homeland. There's so many of those communities. And while I would probably choose Roland Park because of the opulence and the style and the community, when I think of Roland Park, I think of that Homeland environment, Spring Lake community. I might choose to be in Spring Lake.
I would also, and I've never been in Spring Lake, but I would also go to say that Homeland, like when I first went there in that community, I love the vibe of it. Like you have arguably like a traditional single family home, then you have neighbors all throughout, and some of the homes look the same, some are slightly different, but I don't know. There's something about like the community sense, and I have family that lives there and got to spend some time in their house and understand the community a bit more. But like we would go outside and have beers, let the dog run around, and then the neighbor would have their dog run around. We just kind of chat over the fence and like shoot the shit, and it was just really, really.
Does that count as a swear jar?
As long as
we'll give you a pass.
Okay.
Dan the Duck.
Sweet. Where was I at?
Well, let me ask a question, right? So as you think about Homeland and Roland Park and Windhurst and Evergreen and these communities that are a little bit more perennial, that they keep their families, as you mentioned, for a while, whether it's a single income earner or maybe a whole family of 2 or 4 or 6, people tend to stay in those communities a while. But why do you think the demand is so high? Why do people want to be there?
I don't know. I think it kind of comes back to the lifestyle. Like people want this lifestyle. Like people have always said you can't pick up a house and put it on wheels. So like you can buy the biggest piece of crap and fix it up. There you go.
Well done.
Fix it up, and you can still be in that right location, that right community that's going to fit that lifestyle. So I think that's arguably why I think it comes back to the lifestyle and demand that this is what people want. This is what people want their community to look like.
Yeah.
Like Homeland, people take care of the community. People look out for each other. Like all these characteristics that make up that lifestyle, people want that.
It's interesting that you go back to lifestyle, because even as I think like, well, why do people move to Canton? They don't take care of their community the same way. And not that Canton's run down by any stretch of the means, but it's a different kind of like taking care of.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because if I had to say, oh, is it lifestyle? Yeah, I think so. Right. 100%. It's going to be a very different community. A family that's going out to the bar together on Saturday morning to watch football, soccer, or whatever with their little kids running around,
right, versus,
like you had mentioned, going outside into the backyard, throwing the ball, playing with the dog and having a beer. It's similar, but it's different lifestyle. And the lifestyle is the thing that attracts both.
Yeah. Ends. And I would look at like, Canton, again, you have Patterson Park just above, like just north of you, right? So you could take your dog there. You can hang out with people. And I've done that. It's still a great time. But when you look at a community like Homeland, typically you have a solid sized yard, and almost kind of gives you also like a county feel in the same way, right? Like you're not on top of people. You still have a sense of community. You're not in all the hustle and bustle, but you can get down to downtown, or you can still go to restaurants and bars. They're not walkable by any means, but you get those trade-offs. Like everything has a trade-off, right? So again, not to sound like a broken record, but I think it does ultimately go back to lifestyle, what people are looking for. And I think when I purchased my house, that was a heavy consideration because I was looking in Canton, I was looking
Right.
in Hamden, I was looking in, the area that I live now. And it's just, that was ultimately the lifestyle that I decided, because I had the opportunity, literally both of these options open, Hamden, where I live now, and arguably one of them was getting accepted, or both of them were probably going to get accepted no matter what.
Right.
And I had the opportunity to choose where I live now, and it was just purely based
All
off
right,
of lifestyle.
so you just did this, right? You had the opportunity. You had two different communities that you had the option to pick from. If someone was in that same boat, right? They have to choose. They've got to focus their energy. What would be the questions that they should be asking themselves to help them make that decision?
I don't know. That's tough, because it took me a long time to get to the point of making that decision of like where I truly wanted to be. But like, you just really have to vision yourself living there and what your life looks like. I don't know how else to describe it, but like, you look out, you look at the factors of the house, how you're living. Finances are obviously going to play a part in it, right? You might look at the appreciation and like what they're doing to the area. You might look at the neighborhood itself. There's so many things. I don't think you can harp on one specific thing or like this is exactly what you should be looking at, but you should look at finances. You should look at the property itself. You should look at, hey, how long am I going to be living in this place? Because maybe if you're going to live there for a year, and this has a much better area where you could rent out the property, maybe that has a more profound impact on you making your decision. But I don't know. I don't think there's one right answer. If we're looking at my consideration between county, where I live now, and city, something that was heavy in my consideration was taxes.
Okay.
So like,
well, that comes back to monthly payment, right?
Well, right. So, but it's not just monthly payment, because what if the property's $50,000 more? It's a different conversation than if it's arguably the same price, but just city county difference.
Right.
Because your monthly payment is going to be different, but based off of a taxes perspective.
Right.
So, that was a big consideration of mine. Like, do I want to be stuck paying city taxes as to where I can get a, slightly bigger, if maybe not the same size house, and have a lower monthly payment? Well, it made more sense.
For argument's sake here, we're focused on city versus city, right?
Yeah. Okay. Then city versus city. What questions can you ask yourself? What lifestyle do you like? Do you like walking around to your bars, your restaurants, your friend's house, your buddy's house to grab a beer?
Which neighborhood does have the best bars?
God, you could probably start wars with this question.
I mean, if somebody called me and they were like, I need to know the best neighborhood in Baltimore, I would say, I can't tell you that.
Well, yeah,
but if somebody said, hey, I want to go to the neighborhood with the best bars, we can go down a rabbit hole. That should be a name of a bar. Why is there not a bar named the Rabbit Hole?
I kind of like that, actually. I think, again, it comes back to the vibes, like the lifestyle. Because you come near to Hamden, right? You go to Holy for Holies. It's like a Mexican spot here. It's kind of like a
It is the definition of a Mexican dive bar.
Yeah, like
definition.
But I also love that vibe.
Yeah.
I also love like going to get a nice cocktail with a nice outfit on. I love all that and everything in between.
I mean, Bluebird has that. You could go to Fraser's and get a dive bar cocktail. You can go to where were we just at? We were just at Zen West. Oh my God, I've been sleeping on Zen West for a while. So and that's all Hamden.
Yeah.
But so what about?
I don't think it's, when you look at the bars, it's not the neighborhood entirely. It's
totally different question.
The bar itself.
Could you name a bar in each one of these top 10 communities? So I'll just give you the community. Canton, you just think about bars. Canton. Name a bar.
The Dive.
Why?
I know they're jam band friendly.
Okay.
They have pretty good pizza.
Okay.
They have trivia on, I don't know, Tuesdays or Thursdays.
Okay.
It's pretty fun.
The vibe is a whole set in there too.
Yeah, it's a very nice vibe.
Okay. Federal Hill. Name a bar.
What's the green one? McGurk's?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I just remember,
cheesesteak bar, dude. Like, that's the reason to go to McGurk's. And if you're a Philly fan, that is the one place that they're always going to have Philly sports on.
Believe it or not, when I lived in Fed Hill, I didn't spend too much time at the Fed Hill bars.
That's embarrassing to me. Fells Point Bar.
The Admiral's Cup.
Okay.
Or the
interesting
waterfront.
choice. Is Admiral's Cup because they always have live music?
Yeah, I like live music
Of
more
course
than
it
like
is.
a DJ.
Of course it is.
But Waterfront has live music too, right?
Waterfront has live music, but not every single day. And then you know who does have live music every single day? The Horse.
Oh, true.
Every day.
I feel like the Horse is different. Every time I've gone there, it's been like a single performer, not necessarily like more of like a band setting.
Yeah, it'll be like a single guy or like a girl and drummer or whatever.
Yeah.
Like a 2-piece, but it's every day.
Yeah.
And I love that. You know that you can go in there on a snowy Saturday, like everything else is dead and the Horse has music, and it's dive bar friendly.
It's cool.
Hamden. We already talked about Hamden. We've got so many up here. I mean, even Wicked Sisters right across the street.
You got Poppies. You got Holy for Holies, Fraser's. You said Bluebird?
Bluebird Cocktail.
What's the one that you went to, or the one that you were describing to me that was somewhat newer and you've been meaning to go to lately?
Oh my gosh, I have no idea. Oh, I do know what you're talking about. The Duchess.
Yes.
But I haven't been, so I can't speak to it.
Okay.
Zen West was a vibe. All the bars
Hamden?
here. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I haven't been there.
Locust Point.
I actually have never been to a bar in Locust Point.
Okay. Some of the best bars in the city are in Locust Point for sure.
Really?
And I know where they're located, but I can't think of their names. One is, it is right outside of South Baltimore Shopping Center, which is, it's a wings and beer, and it's so good. There's one down the street. Oh God, I'm blanking. They're all right there on Ford Ave, just left and right, but you can always get a good drink, a good meal. Almost every single place I've been in Locust Point has just been so good. Solid bars. I can't think of what they're called at the top of it.
I know you're about to go to Mount Vernon. I'm trying to pull up the place that that's Bolton Hill. Nope.
Oh, I have a best bar in Mount Vernon for sure.
Okay.
I have two probably.
Okay. I think
I might have three.
I know of one.
Okay.
I think it's in Mount Vernon. Is it the Owl?
Oh, the Owl Bar?
Yeah, the Owl Bar.
Yeah, at the
Is that
Hotel Belvedere.
Yeah, there's another one I went to.
Yeah, that's a great bar. Owl Bar is kind of think old school, Gothic kind of style, lots of wood, a real vibe. There is an owl that overlooks the bar that I think at midnight, like his eyes open or something weird.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
How about Terps Sports Bar right down there?
Dude, that's the one I was looking for. Terps. And then there's also another one that's not far from Terps. I went there for a Stavros Halkias comedy show.
Was it Brewer's Art?
No, there was
that's
one.
The other one that you
there
should
was
go
one
to.
that is like, I think it was in another hotel, and it had like velvet booths and seats, and then like the countertops were mirror. Definitely know some shit went down in there at one point. Super like fancy, but gave me like Miami like 80s vibes.
I don't know.
Or like old school Baltimore vibes. Me, my cousin, and
Hotel Revival.
it's in a hotel, but the hotel is not in the name of the
All right,
place.
next. Roland Park.
What's the oldest one that has a good burger that people rave about?
Alonzo's?
I believe so.
Alonzo's is right there on Cold Spring Lane. It's a vibe. It's got a good
what's
burger.
the one on like Roland Ave? The oldest,
Roland
the
Ave.
super old place.
Oh. You're talking about Petite Louis and
Yes.
Johnny's?
Yes.
They don't really count as bars.
Okay, well.
But Johnny's I'll give you, because at least Johnny's has like a sit-down bar.
All right.
Neighborhood vibe, community vibe, American food in the oldest shopping center in America. I will give you that one.
Yeah.
Bolton Hill.
I actually don't know.
I don't know if there is a bar in Bolton Hill. There's just south of Bolton Hill I can think of, where we played trivia that one time, but that's definitely Mount Vernon.
Yeah.
I don't know if there is a bar.
Well, like I
in
said,
Bolton Hill.
like we said before, they all kind of like mush into
same.
this type of like this area, this community.
Yeah, and it's a very residential community. There's nothing there that I can think of. There's like a small grocery store. There's a laundromat right there, but I can't think of any restaurants or bars, and certainly nothing I've ever been to. All right, Patterson Park. This should be an easy one.
Snake Hill. I guess that's.
Snake Hill. I'll give it to you.
It's close enough, but it's like that's technically Highland Town. But sure, Patterson Park.
Sharky's.
I've never
That's a
been to Sharky's.
no-brainer, dude. Sharky's is the dive bar right off the park.
Really?
And it's literally next door to an elementary school.
Wow.
Sharky's is the dive bar. I actually don't know if I've ever gotten food there, but if I did it after playing soccer in the park, and we all kind of walked across.
Yeah.
Got probably like a cheesesteak with a bag of potato chips.
Would you not consider
kind of
that
place.
Canton still?
It is technically
See,
Canton.
right? That's why I said Snake Hill, because it's technically Highlandtown, but like,
all right, if I had to
over,
go, what's the one that's at the north corner of the park? It used to be Bistro RX. Now it's Public House.
Yes.
Patterson Park Public House.
Yeah, that's off of Linwood.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
It's fine. Nothing special to me. Skipping over to Federal Hill again, we're back in Riverside.
What's the one on the water? Is it the Cantina?
Yeah, something. It is. It is a Mexican.
I'm pretty sure it also is like painted blue.
Yes,
I'm pulling it up.
But yeah, Riverside. You've got that. You've got the other one that's up in
Little Havana.
Riverside.
Sorry,
Little Havana.
I was thinking of.
That's a good pull. So it really just depends. I mean, there's going to be a bar, neighborhood restaurant, but if you are really booking for walkability and bars and communities, there are certain communities that I would say, oh my gosh, we need a trend in this direction, because if that's your vibe, it's going to change the style, the community, the location. Yeah. And if you get here in Hamden, you can get into like a nice little residential back street, but 2 blocks away is the Avenue, which is probably one of the most picturesque communities in the city. Right. And you can still get that vibe, especially even if you're in Roland Park. Like you mentioned, you're right down the street from Johnny's and Alonzo's on the other end. But then also it's a quick jaunt over here to Hamden. And that's what makes, I feel, Baltimore so special. Each individual little neighborhood is so unique and so consistently evolving.
You're also still not far from... Like, again, you can go from Roland Park to Hamden, but you could also go from Roland Park to Canton in, 15 minutes?
Yeah. You could cross the city pretty quickly, unless it's traffic time. But, I mean, even that's one of the reasons, like I know you had mentioned you bought into the county, and we live just on the other side of the city-county line because it is so convenient to get to and from and in and around, and that's what makes Maryland so special, to me.
Well, another consideration... going back, I know we got to wrap things up in a minute or two, but when I was looking in Hamden, the reason that, you brought up a good point to consider Hamden, it's the midway basically in the city. If you want to jump down to anywhere downtown, Canton, Fed Hill, Fells Point, areas down there, or if you want to shoot up north to the county, you're at the direct middle point.
What's a neighborhood that isn't on this list that you think in a few years might make it onto the list? And I know it's tough because there's a lot of neighborhoods in the city.
I'm surprised these two aren't on the list.
Okay.
But like Remington or Charles Village.
Interesting. I actually am surprised. It's challenging because I think from a movability standpoint, they're a little bit more centrally located. Yeah. And just because Remington is Hamden adjacent, it always gets like the little brother vibe. Yeah. But that is a good pull. Remington is a good one. I don't know if it'll make it to the list because I don't know if it's cultivating at the level that this community that I'm thinking of is. Cross Keys.
Oh, shit.
Cross Keys even go to think about that. Cultivating at a level.
Cross Keys is sick.
And they're building up a new apartment complex. They're building up a new condo complex. They're continuing to build and put in new restaurants. And everything there is just a little bit of an elevated class, an elevated style. And I think the location, again, just like here in Hamden, it's literally the next neighborhood north. It gives you so much to be desired and so much that you could possibly want if you were moving here. If you're thinking about relocating here to Maryland and specifically here in Baltimore, buying your first home or just choosing the right community to live in, who you work with matters. And of course, we're always here to help. If you guys have any questions, you can always reach out to me. You can read about this blog and so many more on our website at frankoliverco.com. Under additional resources, you can find the blog, but you can always reach out to me directly on Instagram at michael.frank_____. We need to change that. Anyway, how can people reach out to you?
Mine's real simple. Christian the Deadhead on Instagram. And
sorry.
We'll leave it at that.
All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you real soon.
Thanks, guys.
What's up, guys? Thanks for watching. For more information on the housing market, Real Estate 101, how you can leverage your position in today's market, and so much more, click on the link below. If you like this video or have a burning real estate question you'd like us to answer, leave us a comment and let us know. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss an episode, and we'll see you again real soon.